What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing a light review, but unlike my other light reviews where I just kind of show you guys the light and then show you guys the light features, I decided to do it a little bit differently this time and actually do a photo shoot so you guys can see what real life application of the light that I received actually looks like instead of me just talking about it. The light that I actually just received is from the good people over at GVM. They stay hooking it up with the lights, and the light model that I got is the GVM 880 RS. That name sounds familiar. It's because I recently reviewed the 680 RS a few months ago, which is essentially the same light. GVM, if you're watching this, please let me know the difference of like all these lights that you're sending me, because honestly I don't really know the difference. They're all really good lights, but they're pretty similar, so couldn't really tell you the difference. So in this video I'm going to actually break it up into a couple of different parts, which is the specs and like the boring stuff in the beginning, the actual photo shoot and how I use the lights for this photo shoot, and finally the editing process, because a big part of how I get my photos to look the way that they look is actually how I edit my photos. So I definitely want to show you guys that as well. So stick around for the end to actually see how I edited these photos, so you can actually see the entire process, not just the light, not just the photo shoot, and not just the final image. You'll also be getting the editing in this video. So yeah, make sure you stick around for that. I'm gonna have all the like timestamps in the description somewhere, and also on like the chapters thing if I can figure that out, because I don't really know how to do it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so I'll try and do that, but if it doesn't work, they'll be in the description below in case you want to just skip to a certain part. But before we start, go ahead and make sure to subscribe and like. Really does help the channel grow. We just hit 10K, which is like huge. This year's goal is just to continue to grow and to continue to create more content, and now that I have my own space I can do that way more often, and hopefully the quality of it will be a lot better for you guys as well, so you guys can actually enjoy it even more. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this video and start off with the specs of the light. So the 880 RS by GVM is another LED panel. I've received a couple of these before. Like I said, the 680 RS is essentially like the same light from my initial look at it. The only difference I could actually see in this is that the 880 RS has like 10 watts more of power, so I'm assuming it's probably a little bit brighter considering it draws more wattage. I don't know if that's true or not. That's like what I'm assuming is true. I don't know. Again, GVM, if you're watching this video, let me know what the difference is between these lights, because I really don't know. They all look the same. They all kind of do the same thing, but they're all really good lights. So thank you for continuously supporting this channel and sending me gear to review and use. Other than the two LED panels that this light comes with, it also comes with the carrying case, of course. It comes with two power cables for the two LEDs, and it comes with two light stands for the two lights that you receive. And they all come with like these little felt or fabric-y kind of carrying cases. I've never used them ever, but if you do want to have them inside like a little bag, they do include that, which I'm assuming can probably add a little bit of protection. They're not padded or anything, so I can't imagine that they add too much protection, but they are included, which is kind of nice of them to do. But yeah, that's everything that this light actually comes with if you get them in the 2-pack. I'm sure they offer them in more than just 2 packs. The last light they sent me, the 680 RSs, they actually had a 3-pack. So there's different packs you can get, but again, I got the 2-pack, which is perfect for me because most of the photos that I take, I usually use 2 lights. Sometimes I use 3, but most of the time it's just 2. But yeah, that's everything that's included with this light. Nothing new, nothing different than the other lights that I've received. Just a standard package, I guess. So everything you really need to get started in using these lights. Next up is the specs of these lights. So obviously the specs are like any of the other lights that I've reviewed. So if you guys want to just get a more in-depth review of it and more in-depth review of GVM lights as a whole, make sure to check out my other videos. I've reviewed the 1500D and the 680 RS. These are essentially the exact same light, but I'll just briefly go over what these lights can do. So they're full RGB. They have Kelvin temperature lighting. They have a couple of different lighting modes. They can be slaves to each other. So if you change the setting on one light, it'll automatically change it on the other one. You won't have to go around and like manually change the light on every single light. And there's also remote control functionality with a app that GVM has, so you can change all the settings and stuff from your app, which is convenient and helps a lot on set. And finally, the other things that it has are like the video modes, which I personally don't use because I don't do video. So they have like the fireplace, ambulance, police, stuff like that. So if you need that for like a video or something, these include that as well, and it's all built in. You can run it from the actual controllers on the light or on the app. But yeah, that's kind of the specs of this light. But yeah, that's everything about this light. If you got, like I said, if you guys want some like very in-depth nerdy stuff, go check out the other videos that I've talked about. I've kind of show you guys more comparisons with other lights in those videos than I do in this one. But with the specs and the boring stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the actual photo shoot. So this photo shoot was something that I would kind of do for a lot of my work, which is like studio type of photography. I think this is probably where these lights shine the best. So for this photo shoot, I decided to do a little in-studio photo shoot to show you guys what this light can actually do. I stuck to mostly just the Kelvin temperature lighting, just because I feel like with a panel like this, if you do RGB lighting, because it's kind of like a really big spill area, it'll just kind of infect like the entire photo and make it look too flat. And it's something I see a lot of photographers do. It's like one of those things that I notice all the time is if you blast too much colorful light onto a subject, it just kind of makes the image overall flat and there's just no definition in the image or depth and just kind of a boring photo. So I tried avoiding that by, instead of, you know, blasting it with colors, which these lights can definitely do, I decided to add some textures and colors with some fake plants to the photo so I could get a little bit more interesting photos that way. So I did a very just basic portrait session. So because there is like a slight built-in diffusion on these panels, the light's naturally soft. You can shape it a little bit with the barn doors, which is what I did. I kind of shaped it to not hit the backdrop, so there would be a little bit of some fall off when it's going into the background. And for some of the photos, I did use some LED color, so you guys will see that when I'm doing the editing process. We're on screen right now with the BTS footage. Yeah, that's basically how I did the photo shoot. 2 lights, very simple. I was powering them with the MPF battery because when you have them on the stands and they're on the batteries, it's just easy to maneuver and wires get in the way. So I try to use the batteries as much as possible. But yeah, now let's move on to the editing process. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and jump behind the computer screen and edit with you guys. So I'm on my computer now and I'm just gonna kind of show you guys how I would edit these photos, because like I said, I haven't edited them yet because I wanted to show you guys the entire process, not just how the photos actually look during a photo shoot. Let me turn my flashlight off. Yeah, so I have all the photos here in Lightroom. I took, you know, about like 20 of them. I did a few different lighting setups so that you guys can kind of see what this light can do. Obviously, I could have pushed these lights a little bit more extremely, but I wanted to keep it, you know, pretty simple, just so you guys can kind of get a little example of what the light looks like. The way I edit my photos is I typically start off with like a base preset. So I'm gonna go in and just kind of find a preset of mine that I like and use it. So this preset's pretty nice. This is from an upcoming preset pack that I'm working on. And yeah, I really like the way that it looks, actually. Like straight out of camera. I'm gonna keep the crop the same just because it really looks pretty good. And then with the blacks, drop the blacks a little bit in the darker areas, and then bring up the highlights a tad bit, and then kind of bring them up over here as well. And that's a pretty good photo. So from this to this with just one click, you know, that's why you got to use presets. But in this photo, you guys can tell that, you know, the light has pretty good light quality because her skin looks really nice. Her skin tone, you know, even without it, like it looks like how it actually looks in person, which is good. Some of my newer presets that I'm working on, I really like this preset. I'm gonna release this one soon, but I really like the way that this preset works. So you can see how this looks when it's interacting with other colors. I'm gonna boost the saturation a tiny bit. But as you can see, the yellows are yellow, the reds are reds, and the blues are blues. And it's pretty accurate too. The only time that something doesn't look the way it should is when I added a color that, or changed the hue in post. So if I wanted to change this a little bit more green, I'm gonna just bump that green a little bit, bump this down, bump it up, there we go. So yeah, before, after. So these lights are really good light quality. Again, you guys like the way I edited these photos. Preset is coming soon. All right, last photo I'm gonna edit. It's gonna be one of these. Let's do this one. This one's like full red, so you guys can kind of see what the red looks like. So this one, there's only one light. As you can see, it's off to the right. You can see it in her eye, and you can kind of tell by the angle where it's coming from. And I'm gonna just go ahead and do one of these. Very cliche photo, reaching up towards the camera, but you know, we're just trying to show the quality of the light. So for a photo like this, which is pretty flat. I would add a little bit of a punch to it by increasing the contrast, dropping the shadows a little bit, maybe increasing the texture, clarity, keep that same, add a little bit of dehaze in there even though there wasn't any haze. And then in the tone curve, let's do something that's a little bit more like filmic looking. So we'll do like raised blacks because we're cliche like that up in here. Add a little bit of punch to it in the highlights, but then bring down the mids a little bit. And then I'm gonna mess around in here, see what we'll add a little bit of green in there. Some police driving by. There we go. Come back over here, make the red a little bit darker, add some noise reduction, and then add some grain. We'll add grain on this one just because it's a boring photo. So the grain will make it look spicier. We love that. And as you can see, the red is like a pretty solid red. It's pretty close to being like actual red. There is like a slight orange tint to it. But yeah, these are the photos that I decided to go with. So these are the final photos that I shot with these lights. As you can tell, you know, they're really good lights. They have really good light quality. They're pretty true to life, which is what you want from a light. You don't want a light that has too much character where it's hard to edit and post. These lights are pretty neutral when it comes to the white balance. You know, it's pretty close to what it says it is. So if it says 5600 Kelvin, it is most likely going to be 5600 Kelvin. There might be a little bit of, you know, change there, but it's really high quality and it looks really good on skin. It looks really good on other colors. You can trust this light when it comes to lighting up your subject, lighting up your scene. And that's why I really like GVM lights. So when they told me that they wanted to send me some more lights, I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know, send me some more and I'll show you guys what I can actually create with them. So like I said, this was like a pretty basic photo shoot and I just kind of wanted to show you guys what you can actually do with these type of lights. They're very multi-purposeful, so you can do LED, so you can do RGB as well as just like normal white balance light. And as you can tell by the photos that I just shot, they're pretty good. And I definitely think they're worth it. I use mine all the time. They always come with me when I travel, just in case I need like an RGB light and something that can throw off some diffused light. Well, with these, you know, they do have a little bit of diffusion, so you don't need a softbox. But they do also have attachments like softboxes that you can use on these lights. But yeah, that's the review of the GVM 880 RSs. All the lights I've gotten from GVM are really nice, they're really good quality. If you guys want to see some more in-depth videos of the kind of lights that GVM creates, check out my other videos. I've reviewed others in the past. These are no different. They're essentially the same, just a newer model, I think, maybe a little bit brighter, very slight differences. But overall, really, really good lights. So if you guys are looking for some LED lights and you don't want to spend a ton of money, definitely check out GVM. GVM is a really good company and they make some really good lights that will help you with your creativity. So if you want to do some more creative portraits in 2022, make sure to pick up these lights or any of the other lights that are similar to this from GVM and start messing around with them. And I promise you'll be able to create some really good stuff with them. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate every single one of you that's made it this far. And if you guys want to see more videos, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment for more content. And also make sure to go ahead and follow me on all my social medias. That's at MoodyDarkRoom on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything. If you guys want to keep up with my photography, that's where I post my photography first. This channel is mostly like BTS and educational stuff. And I do plan on making a Patreon soon. I'll kind of talk about that in a future video. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.